Once upon a time, there lived a wizard pug, and one day he went to a hero and told him of 3 evil people and how he needed to vanquish them to the pits of hell. He said, "Young warrior, be careful. These men are devious and cunning." The hero understood, and he began his quest to vanquish these evils. Hey everyone, Road Breach here, and today we're gonna make like Toy Grind and have a knockoff beatdown. These figures don't really qualify as knockoffs as much as they are wannabes. So I decided to refer to these 3 as 3 of the 7 deadly sins. And the 3 of the 7 deadly sins that I decided to refer to these as is greed, pride, and sloth. So, I guess we'll just start this thing off then. Let's start with what I decide to refer to as car robo, or basically greed, and start with the one that I found at the Dollar Tree. I don't know whether to be happy or not that I paid so little for this thing, or not. But I guess we'll just take a look at it anyway. So, this thing is light as I'll ever get out. Seriously, this thing is just the cream of the crap. This thing hardly has any paint apps on it, and some very lackluster molded detail on it. I mean, you could paint this back here, but you couldn't paint the rest of these windows? Really? Although, I mean, it did cost like $2 to $1, so I guess I really shouldn't be expecting much. Some of these wheels do spin alright, but some of them not so much. Some of them are pretty tight, but I guess I should expect that for something that I paid $1 for. This thing's plastic is pretty much translucent, and I'm surprised that this thing isn't mortally destroyed already from me playing with it. It's that cheap and hollow feeling. And there's not really much I could say. I find it kind of funny that I found this at my local Dollar Tree. But I guess that's it for vehicle mode. I mean, there's hardly anything. So, I guess without further ado, let's transform this turd monkey. And here he is in robot mode, and good God, just look at this thing. This thing, you can see why I represent this with greed, because, good God, like, oh jeez, look at this thing. I mean, this thing is just horrendous. I mean, it's all hollow and bendy, and if you want to try and pose this thing, well, this thing is a rag doll. But even then, dolls have a better name, because some of them you can actually pose around and actually get some decent poses out of, unlike this thing. And, you know what, speaking of which, let's take a look at articulation. Nothing at the head, ball joint at the shoulders, rotation right there, ball joint at the hips, and that's it. If you want to try and get some good poses out of this, forget it. This thing is a floppy mess, and I have no idea why I thought I should have bought this, because it is horrendous. Well, I guess for the purposes of this video, so I guess views, but even then,
I guess I'm a little bit hypocritical by calling this greed and buying this and reviewing it just for views, but whatever. If I was really hypocritical, I guess I would save my money. Greed in a nutshell. So I guess enough with this piece of crap. Let's move on.
Next, let's move on to the one that I associate with pride and look at Livewire, part of the Hot Wheels Modifiers.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. This one I actually kind of like. I mean, this one is actually... I actually heard about this from playing the Hot Wheels game on HotWheels.com, which, by the way, is still a playable game on that site. So this is Livewire, one of the modifiers, and this is actually not the particular color variation that you're able to play as in the game, oddly enough. Now, the original is actually dark gray and red, whereas this one is actually, green, black, and a bit of white. I actually kind of like this thing. The vehicle mode is nice and blocky, and the plastic is really good. Nice chunky plastic. And while some of the chrome right here is kind of faded, I guess it makes a bit of sense. And this thing actually did have a gimmick, whereas when you squirt water on it, it actually reveals some battle damage. But since the gimmick does not work anymore for some reason, I don't know why. I guess it's just a case with the paint, I guess. The detail here is actually pretty well done. You can see it says Modifiers. You can see it says Modifiers again. And you can kind of see his head poking out. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, yeah, it is a little bit distracting, but overall, this is actually a really good vehicle right here. Oh, and these little side view mirrors are a little bit bendy, and I've been careful with these, so they're still here. Oh. And he did come with an accessory, but it's kind of broken. Here's half of the gun. I can't find the other half. So it's just a case of... Well, it was just a case of, pulling this back and sucking in some water and then putting it in... putting it in the hand or right here and squirting it out. And that's pretty nice that it can store on the vehicle. But I guess we're done taking a look at the vehicle mode. Let's get to robot mode, shall we? It's pretty obvious that this thing stands up pretty well, and the robot is really weird looking. I mean, look at these proportions here. The really skinny midsection, along with the really stumpy and blocky legs, kind of looking a little bit thick, don't you think? And when you look at his forearms, I guess it kind of makes sense why he's called Livewire. This dude's supposed to be like a gangster DJ sort of bot right here. And if we take a look at his head, we can see that it's got a lot more personality than that other one we were talking about earlier. He's got some headphones, some cool shades, nice grill. And we can see that he's got some, like, sneakers down there. And this one, it just has a lot more personality than the other. So this is why I decided to represent this one with pride. Because this actually has a lot more going on. Heck, even back here you can see some detail on the interior of the doors right here. So, I mean, this one, I actually like it. And once again, with the water squirter, it would peg in there, but I don't have the other half of it. I don't know where it went. And you can still put it right there for some storage, although that would look weird if you put the whole thing right there. Now for articulation, the head can rotate and it can look up and down. The doors are on ball joints at the base and also at the door itself. Arms can rotate full 360 degrees and they can move in and out. Is a ball joint, but it works more like a swivel and also a hinge. Same thing with the fists, which do rotate and of course move inwards. A ball joint at the torso, we'll call it the torso. The legs can move forward and back. You can also kind of move these around for a bit of posability. So you can get some decent poses out of this guy, like he's ready to beat somebody up or something or other. And you can do a lot with these doors right here. It's actually pretty cool with what you can do with them. So, yeah, I like this one. I really do think that Hot Wheels should revisit this idea in the future. I mean, they have a good idea here. And while they are pretty obscure, I do think that they are worth your money. Although, maybe not worth $100. I mean, good lord. Frickin' tone it down a bit. Jeez. But this one, he's pretty good. So, I guess let's move on.
And last, and what I consider to be the least, let's take a look at the Honda City Mini Converter Minibot thing. And what I consider to be Sloth.
This guy, I feel like he really doesn't belong in my collection. I mean, I feel like this guy is just not right for me. The detail is very lacking, and on mine, I'm actually missing both the front tires. I believe there was actually one tire right there that was still, I feel like this thing had one tire at the front here, but I guess I needed a bit of symmetry, so maybe it was I who got rid of one of the tires. Yeah, the vehicle mode is that of a Honda City, and pretty much the only one of this collection that bears a resemblance to a real life vehicle. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. Transformation. And here we are. This is the reason why I decided to refer to this one as... I decided to associate this one with the sin of sloth. This one is not right for me. I mean, this one is just... I mean, look at its design. This thing breathes 80s or 70s. Whatever. This thing just... Like, you can tell this thing, it was released somewhere around the time when the G1 Transformers figures were released. This thing has barely any definition or style. And, yeah, it broke. The stickers are peeling, the arm is broken, and the head sculpt, just looking at that head sculpt right there, you can see just the desperation just standing there, just sitting and thinking, what did I do? What did I do in life to deserve this bratty kid? What did I do to deserve this position in life?
He just stands there, wondering, what did I do in life? What choices did I make? What avenues did I turn to land in the position that I am today? As I go on and I mutter about the possibilities about what happened to this particular soul. What did he do in life to deserve the place that he is right now, standing on my desk, sitting there, agonizing over many thoughts, many hopes and regrets, as he wonders as to why he is where he is today.
Basically, all that means is that there is very little to this figure, and I feel like I don't deserve this figure. Maybe I should open a let go for this thing. I'll probably charge $1. Why? Because of that. So, yeah, I'm going to be delicate with this.
Overall, I think Livewire is the best out of these three. I don't inherently think that if it's not a Transformers toy, it isn't good. Some of the Machine Robo toys I actually did think were kind of neat looking, and I actually thought, hey, maybe one of those I could buy for myself one day. And like I said, I do think that Livewire is the best out of these. It's just that I think that the Honda City converter and the dollar store car robo is just not good. I think that I should probably get rid of the Honda City converter to somebody that does have a knack for these old toys, or at least the old style toys that don't have much articulation or are very odd in terms of what they do for detail. These figures aren't inherently horrendous, and I think that two of these figures I don't really like, and one of them I think is actually horrendous. So, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, and got a zoom.